everyone, welcome back. My name is Ksenia and I'm here today to talk a little bit more about classics. I already had a video where I talked about popular classics that I really like, that are more light, easier to get into, and today I'm gonna focus on books that are heavy, not heavy, but heavy. So yeah, I turned on all the lamps in this apartment and I feel like it's still dark. But there's nothing I can do about it. It's winter, it's super gray out there, there's no light in the apartment at all, so we're gonna have to suffer, I'm afraid. So yeah, let's talk about books. So the first one I want to talk about is actually the one that I have on my cup. Wuthering by Emily Brontë. So yeah, it's quite short, but I feel like it's a bit difficult to read because there is narration within narration, and that makes it a bit difficult to get into the plot because I feel like the plot is really slow. So the book is a love story between Cathy and Heathcliff. It's not exactly a love story, it's more a story of passion and destruction and very angry and selfish love. It's not something to swoon over, it's not particularly romantic. It has a very dark and bleak atmosphere, which I love in books, and it has very unlikable characters, which I also love in books. I don't know if that sounds interesting to other people though. I don't know how many other people also like bleak books with horrible characters. But yeah, there's of course way more than just bleak atmosphere and unlikable characters. There's also... what else is there? I don't know, there's just a lot of passion in the book, a lot of emotions. To me it was really interesting to read, to follow the characters and their passions and the crazy things they do for love or obsession or whatever it is. And yeah, it's quite short, so if you're not sure you can always try. I feel like if you've read any other works by Brontë sisters, you might enjoy this one as well. So the next book I want to talk about is East of Eden by John Steinbeck, and I absolutely adore John Steinbeck. Everything that I've read of his I loved 100%, and this one I think is my favorite, even though it's on, in this video where I talk about heavy classics. Still, I feel like of all the books that I'm going to talk about today, this one is the easiest to read if you're not used to classics. So yeah, the story has biblical motives, specifically the story of Adam's sons, Cain and Abel. I honestly don't know how to pronounce their names in English, so I'm sorry if that's horrible. And yeah, in the story there's Adam Trask, the main character, and his two sons, Cal and Aaron. So you get the name with a C and the name with an A, and Adam has a brother as well, and his name is Charles. Yes, Charles. So you get A and C as well. And throughout the story there's lots of characters, and I think most of their names are either with C or with A. So it's very interesting to follow this repetition of Cain and Abel. Specifically, the two brothers are very similar to the two brothers in the biblical story. So one is very nice and sweet and he's loved by his father, and another one is more dark, and because he doesn't get as much love, he's more dark, and he gets enveloped by darkness and stuff happens. There's a lot to this book, a lot of plot and characters and stuff that is happening, and I find it really compelling, and I'm so looking forward to rereading this book. Throughout the book there's the theme of light and darkness, the same as with Cain and Abel, and good and evil, what choices do we have, and all this stuff. And yeah, it's a great book. Do I finish all my reviews like that? It's a great book. But it is. Okay, so the next book I wanted to talk about is 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel García Márquez, and I am very certain that most people have heard of it, and I encourage everyone here watching to read it because it's one of those epic books that you read once and you remember through your whole life. So yeah, this one is quite difficult to read, I feel like, because It's a saga, it's family saga about one family in a Colombian town, Macondo, which is a made-up town, but it's based on a real town where Gabriel García Márquez grew up. Grew up. We follow generations and generations of the same family. Oh, I have a book here. Yes. We follow this family, and most of the characters are named alike. Like, there are basically 3 or maybe 4 names in the whole story, and there's 20 or 30 characters. So it can get quite difficult to follow. I tried to read it 3 times, and by the 3rd time I think my brother suggested to me that I should just write all the names, and I did it, and I finally got through the book. And it's absolutely worth it, even though it might look intimidating, but it's absolutely worth it. And I think I think I said it about 1984, that it's the book that everybody should read, and I don't say it about just any book. I kind of use this word very sparingly, so this is another book that I think everybody should read. It'll stay with you for a long, long time. So the next book is very special to me, and this is The Magus by John Fowles. So this book is quite thick in themes and in volume. Even though I would recommend it to everyone, I feel like you have to really decide for yourself whether or not you should read this book. So yeah, the plot follows an English man called Nicholas Urfey, I think that's how you pronounce his name, who gets a job in a Greek private English school, so he goes on to a Greek island, and same as with Macondo from 100 Years of Solitude, this is an imaginary island, but it's based on a real island in Greece, where John Fowles spent some time and taught in a school as well. And then this character meets a mysterious man who has a very big mansion somewhere on the top of the hill on the island. And this man is very, well, like I said, he's mysterious. He likes playing mind games and tricks, and he speaks in riddles and stuff like that. They have lots of intellectual debates, and they aren't friends, but they get really close because they spend lots of time together. The main character, Nicholas, he always has this feeling that something's wrong, like someone is watching him, or, you know, that there's something weird that is happening, because this character, this mysterious old man, that he's never 100% honest with him. So there's this element of mystery, and it's not a mystery book. It's not like there's some big reveal at the end. It's just, it's very mysterious and a bit creepy and weird, and I loved this idea of not being completely sure if you're, I don't know, spied on, or if there is some trick behind this man's whatever. I don't know how to finish the sentence. So, the book also has lots of allusions to Shakespeare, and yeah, I talked about The Collector by the same author, by John Fowles, that also has allusions on Shakespeare. And I actually wrote my university paper on allusions on Shakespeare in John Fowles' works. And this one was the one that has like most of them. It's filled with them. I would say it's epic to me. It's not as epic as, for example, 100 Years of Solitude or something like that. But to me it feels very epic, just because when I think about it, when I remember the stuff that happens, I just get this feeling that, oh, what an amazing book. And it's a great feeling. The next book I wanted to talk about is Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. This novel is super short. It takes place in just one day, and I feel like it's small in scale, but the themes are very heavy, and the writing style is quite difficult. Again, my opinion, maybe for some people it's super easy, but to me personally, it took a lot of time getting used to her style. Virginia Woolf writes in style of stream of consciousness, so whatever the main character thinks is there on the page. Absolutely everything, every little detail. It's an amazing style. It gets you so close to the character. You are completely in the character's head. But yeah, at the same time it's difficult to read, just because sometimes sometimes mind wanders, and you you go along to this wandering of the mind in the story, and it can get quite difficult. And yeah, the story follows two characters, Clarissa Dalloway, who is Mrs. Dalloway from the title, and Septimus Smith, who at first, as you start reading, there is no connection, but then their lives kind of get connected. Yeah, I would definitely recommend Virginia Woolf, just because she is such an amazing writer from, writing perspective. Almost every her sentence is quote worthy. You can just put the book, underline everything, and just put it, I don't know, on quotations. It's just, she's amazing with words. And the last book I want to talk about is The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. There he is. It's small, but I still think it's quite difficult to read just because there isn't much plot. It's just an old man who went fishing, and his only goal for this book, for the whole novella, I guess, is to catch the big fish that has been evading him throughout his whole life. I think. I'm pretty sure that's the plot. And he feels like his life is almost at an end, and now he has to do it before he dies. And I feel like it's such a powerful novel. There isn't much to a plot, it's just a man and the fish, and they are battling in a way, but there's so much amazing themes explored as the man reflects on his life, on his last adventure. And regarding Ernest Hemingway, I've read quite a few of his long novels and I hated them. Okay, I didn't hate them. I didn't particularly enjoy them. They were okay. But his novella, I guess it's a novella, I don't know, and his short stories are absolutely amazing. If you've read some of his long novels and you think he's a boring old dude, just try this one because it's certainly worth it. So that's it for me for today. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'm always happy to talk about the books that I've mentioned or some of your favorite classics. Maybe, probably, for sure, I will be talking about more classics sometime later in the future, in the next year. So yes, until next time, bye.